that.
Are we live?
No, you got to click the button.
What button?
That one, the big blue one that says go live.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, that one.
Nice.
Cool.
All right.
So that takes care of that. Yeah, do your thing here. Make sure we're.
Pull me.
All right. Is it 6?
On the dot.
Boom.
Let go.
6-3.
Let go.
Right.
Got to sanitize it.
Now, socially distance and whatnot.
Yeah.
All right, so we're live. How you doing, everybody? So I'm Charles. This is Moshe, since we're broadcasting multiple channels. And we did this a long time ago, and we called, I figured I should call it something. So I was thinking about Convos with Creatives. What do you think?
That's not bad.
So yeah, let's do that. So literally, have a conversation. Thanks for having me back out here. How's things been? How's Thanksgiving?
Not too bad. It was exclusive.
Oh really?
Like the family, a little more intimate. Yeah.
Oh okay. You can go anywhere. You stay home.
No, just
elaborate. Don't just be short.
Just at home.
We're broadcasting right now.
Just at home with my family and my in-laws. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds.
And the dog, the cat, and the fish.
You had a lot more people than I did. Hopefully nobody broke in your door.
No, things went well.
Well, what about the week leading up to Thanksgiving? Did you do any big Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals like everybody in the world does?
Not a single thing. I'm not a big shopper.
Well, I'm talking to you as a business owner, not just a shopper.
As a business owner?
That's actually a two-part question.
No.
You didn't shop, but what about just as a business?
I did not buy anything. I wanted to buy a few things, but things are tight. This is not the time to do a lot of spending. Mm-hmm. So I think that people need to just chill it with the spending these days.
I agree.
Yeah.
Dave Ramsey thing. It's like save first and then spend. Whatever.
Yeah, all the millionaires tell you to save first.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
What about here at, by the way, HeadshotDC? Any Black Friday or Cyber Monday things going
on? No, I don't usually do any specials. I tried it in the past. It was fine, but I just don't think it's good for the brand. If I want to do something at a discount, I might as well just do it for free. We did free headshots for veterans on Veterans Day again, which was a success. Nice. We had a couple dozens of people, and it was really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I saw your post about that, and that was really, really cool.
Yeah.
Were they in uniform or just casual?
A couple showed up in uniform. A lot of them are people that are transitioning to civilian life, so they actually want good photo in a suit and not in the uniform. One of them was a former student of mine from 10 years ago when I used to teach photography at a school in DC. So then she joined the Army and all that, but it was funny. I did not recognize the name when she booked it. So, yeah.
Well, that's cool. Let me open this thing up so I can see if we have comments coming in, like somebody saying, "Hey, we don't hear you," or something, ridiculous like that.
With your gear, everything is tip top.
There's it may be whatever, but there's still a chance of operator error. There it is. Look, hey, look at me. Hey, it works.
That's you.
Since we don't have a camera crew behind us for social distancing, actually more so budgets. Thank you to our sponsors for putting on the show today. Sea King Media and HeadshotDC. Like to thank our sponsors. But no, I'm in the same boat as you. I did have a couple people send me emails. Hey, is there a Black Friday, Cyber Monday thing? And no, for similar reasons. I just don't really do those big special days. If I was doing something special, it's something where it's just hey, this is something special for a specific client. So right now, I haven't released the video yet, but I do the whole subscriber thing for people who bring me out monthly. We shoot a bunch of stuff all year.
Yep.
So I'm actually going to run it is a special, but it's more so hey, this is, because I'm trying to fill up the calendar for next year. So I'm actually going to do a 1 month free thing for new subscribers.
Can I subscribe?
Yes, you can. You can also just be a beautiful evangelist for me, as you've been. I appreciate that. See, referrals. Referrals work, people. It's working together. So, yeah, I feel the same way when it comes to special, because it's here's the thing. This is the worst. When you buy furniture, aren't those salespeople, no offense to furniture salespeople, aren't they the worst? Because they're not really helping you. It's just here's this, and if you look at a sale thing, it's this couch costs $600 one day, $200 one day. Wait, what? How much does the thing cost? I don't trust you right now.
They should make those sales on cars.
Well, exactly. It makes it so you don't trust a salesperson. And so for this industry, I've always found I'd rather just keep pricing roughly the same because it makes it so people don't feel like you're ripping them off.
It's better for the brand. I don't want somebody to say my friend got it for less and I missed. Then you have Cyber Monday, and then you have, Casual Tuesday and Taco Wednesday, and it just doesn't end. So I get those emails all day long with, you missed Cyber Monday, here's Tuesday, and get your deal now. I don't need that.
Well, exactly. And here,
if I wanted it, I would get it at full price. Or not saying that you got to be a sucker and pay full price for retail stores, but it's a little different what we do. We sell, I would like to consider it a service and luxury product. Every dollar we discount just goes straight out of what we earn. So there's no reason to.
Yeah, and obviously there are people in the industry who charge way up here, way down here. It's a wild west out here, honestly. I mean, being flat out honest. But it's about, the value that you can create. So like when it comes to here, we'll use you, for example, in the headshots and stuff like that. You have color consistency, you have like repeatability, you have a number of things that go in here as opposed to the person who's on Groupon. And you have a client who might say, I see that I can get this service for $50 on Groupon.
I don't mind when they say that. It just, usually those are the clients that a year later will come back or a month later will come back here and say, yeah, I tried that cheap deal, didn't work, looks like crap, can we do it right? And it ends up being costing more, so.
Well, exactly, and I've had those too, since it's funny with our referrals, I try to act like I don't do photography when he's referring me, but since we're on my channel right now, since I do some photo as well, it's one of those things with, I had a boudoir person the other day. We talked, because I do like an actual phone consultation, talk and explain all that stuff. Literally 20-minute conversation, and then 15 minutes after the conversation, I get a message back, a friend sent me a Groupon for, a session, and I'm just going to do that. I was like, okay.
Just a waste of your 15 minutes. Yeah, that doesn't work. I don't do price matching,
Yeah, because again, like you said, it's a service, and it's not about trying to take advantage or anything.
Right. Retail stores mark up. Everybody knows those things you see online, those memes and JPEGs that people circulate. They do sell a Nike for $300, and they're being made with cheap labor, and they mark them up hundreds of dollars. But this is the retail. We are not in retail. We are in the service industry, and we priced it a certain way to know this is what makes us profitable to be able to sustain the business, so we might as well just keep that price.
Right, and let's carry this on to the next level. When that service has to leave the studio, because obviously you save a lot of money if you just came here, in your case, and just do it here. I'm envious of you of that because all my stuff's on location, so no matter what, it's like, hey, you have me coming to your location fee, and that's number one, time, that's the effort. Here's one of the biggest factors for me when it comes to pricing that. What is my insurance deductible? Because you know what, if I come out there and do like, let's say a group headshot session for $1,000 or whatever it might be, depending on how many people we're shooting, just so we're clear so nobody quotes me on that. if I drop that one lens, it doesn't have to be the camera, if I drop that lens or whatever, I gotta hit my insurance deductible, otherwise I just paid for your headshot session.
That's right, that's right. You have to, not to go into a whole business class, but you have to calculate your cost of doing business. So whether you do a headshot for $500 or a wedding for $10,000 or $3,000, you're not putting $3,000 in your bank. And I'm not just talking about the taxes that you pay off of it, the 30 or 40%, depending on your bracket. You have to calculate your overall year expenses and start dividing it and see that a $500 headshot may only be $200 in your pocket. And for the amount of time you put into it, it's not bad, but I wouldn't lower that.
Of course. And that's why, like, are you totally out of weddings, or are you still doing weddings?
I've been clean for 5 years.
You're out of the wedding game.
I'm out of the wedding game.
I'm slowly stepping out. I haven't really made it public. I mean, this is kind of making it public, I guess. But I'm slowly stepping out as well. It's not because I have anything against it. It's just like what we were just talking about. When you put in all the time that you put in for a wedding, that's almost, in some cases, a year commitment, because some people, there's more conversations, there's more meetings, there's more holding hands, and stuff like that, that literally is time.
It's a year commitment, and it ends up being not just a 10-hour day, it ends up being 50 hours in that year period, and if you take that amount, literally I used to talk about that in all my classes when I used to travel the country and teach. If you shoot a $10,000 wedding, and you divide it by the hours, and then you start taking tax off, you're not making more than $30 or $40 an hour. You might as well go make that sitting 9 to 5 in some office.
With benefits.
Exactly. And so you always have to charge more, obviously if you're worth it, not if you're not at that caliber yet. but always calculate your taxes. And then you'll see the discounts come right out of your earning, not out of your expenses.
Yeah, because and also here's the other part, and it sounds like my thing here. Here's the other part about weddings and even some portrait sessions and stuff. Why I do them for clients who I absolutely love, but I don't actively market or pursue that stuff because there's so many times that you'll end up doing a portrait session or some session like that, and then they come back to you surprised because of something that, unless you gave them a whole stack of here's what you get, they're like, wait, what do you mean it costs extra for a retouch, or it doesn't come with some print of some kind? When, on my invoicing at least, I literally make it full line items. You're getting the session, you're getting a viewing session, you're getting an online gallery, website files, that's what you're getting. For some reason, that still translates sometimes to, oh, what do you mean I can't print those? And unless I literally give them a huge talking to that nobody wants.
No, and even if you did, probably they won't remember it, and I don't blame them.
Me too.
It's a little detail for them, big detail for us. But that's one of the reasons I got out of that industry. I have many other reasons I got out of it, but that was something you have to deal with on a regular basis. Doesn't matter how well you explain things.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, that's why I'm slowly just moving towards more of the commercial and corporate and that type of world. Honestly, the more and more I've been doing, I'm actually getting closer to stepping away from photography, to be honest with you, just because so much of my stuff has been video centered and live stream centered and stuff like that.
Well, it works well for you because you have all the knowledge and the equipment, the talent, and I think that it's good to supplement with photography, but if you can focus on the one thing that does more, then definitely. It's just the same way I shifted from weddings and events to headshots and portraits. It just slowly, but eventually it became 100% of my time.
So switching to just headshots and portraits from weddings and events, does that mean you have more personal time now?
I do. I get to enjoy weekends with the kids. I recently stopped working on Saturdays, so now I only work Sundays. But every day I'm home for dinner, which is great. Mm-hmm. It's been like this for a few years now, but I made that, until 5 years ago, it wasn't like that.
Yeah, it's like you get a call, you're like, oh, I got to act because...
I would hear from my wife what the kids did on the weekend, but I wouldn't see it. And now I get to see it and play with it, and that's priceless.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, while I run solo, I don't have the family thing, I totally understand that. Because it's about having a life that's actually worth living and fulfilled and all that type of savvy stuff, as opposed to, okay, oh man, somebody else's priority just took over my life and turned into my priority.
It was great when I was younger and the kids were too tiny, but now it's, and I know a lot of photographers that are in their 60s and 70s and still killing it in the wedding industry, mm-hmm. but their kids got their own kids, so they kind of want to have fun on the weekend. One of my mentors, Len DePa, he was shooting weddings in his 60s.
Oh, wow.
He was shooting 40, 50 weddings a year like that, and it was amazing. He had more energy than I ever had.
Well, it takes a lot of energy to do the wedding, because there's a lot of people who I shoot with, and I see them come Sunday, or if they do a double, come Monday or whatever, and they're destroyed. Like it's going to take them 3 or 4 days just to, get back to their normal quality of life, because it takes a lot out of you to do a wedding.
It does.
A lot of people don't realize that.
Can we stop talking about wedding? I'm getting anxiety. I'm kidding. I don't get anxiety, but I get...
It gives you flashbacks. Oh my gosh, I'm going to work 10 hours a night.
It gives me flashbacks. I will say that working in the headshots and portraits and fashion kind of photography industry, I can have the busiest day here. I can have 20 clients in and out, mm-hmm. Or go to someone's office and work all day, and I am in Zen mode. It is relaxing. I control every single variable. When you go to a wedding, it just controls you. It doesn't matter how good you are.
It is literally, you buckle up, hold on, and ride this train out till it's done.
And then on Sunday or Monday morning, you're like an angry pit bull, and you just snap. I did not enjoy being grumpy on Sundays, which is another one of the reasons I stopped. So.
Well, absolutely. You're talking about your Zen here in the studio. I see that we have daylight now. It's not like this dark cave.
Oh, yeah. The boards are off. The boards are off. They were on since June, since there was some riots around here, literally right outside.
We're in Washington, D.C., by the way.
Yes, we're in D.C., Riot City. And it's clear now. So, yeah, the shades are actually 60% down, but there's a lot of natural light in this studio, which I love. So I'm glad to have it back.
Yeah, for those of you on my channel who might have saw the other video, it was all dark and mysterious because literally there were, how big are these windows?
They're big.
Yeah,
They're
like
probably 16 feet tall.
16 feet tall and a bunch of boards. I'm envious I didn't invest in like a carpentry business during the last year because here in DC, like the boards up and stuff like that, boards up and down for some businesses.
Oh, yeah.
But congratulations. I'm sure it probably feels a lot better in here.
It does. It feels nice. It feels warmer and more fun. Absolutely.
Ray Roman is on here. He said, nice suit. Thank you, Ray.
Who's that?
Ray Roman, cinematographer in the industry.
Oh, yeah, of course.
How's DC been as of late? Like, when the boards are down, which means things must be a little bit more comfortable and stuff like that. How's business?
The atmosphere is a little more comfortable. Business is okay. Business has been really good in June, July, August, even September. August started to slow down a little bit. I think it was getting closer to election, and the same as with November. It got a little slower even November. Holidays and the weather, just normal transition in the city. But it's better than it obviously was when I was shut down for 13 weeks. But now it's good. I can't complain.
Oh, nice.
Always want more, but can't complain.
Could you handle more if you got a whole huge influx?
I can always handle more.
Okay.
I have associates that I don't deploy right now because I do pretty much all the work. I obviously want to earn as much as I can, but when things were busy in previous years, I've always had associates and people to take extra work. Yeah.
Are you still busy mainly here or on location stuff?
I would say 4 days out of the week, 4.5 days I'm here working with clients, individuals, and then 1 day a week I'll be on location, whether doing portraits for an individual or a small group, or just doing headshots for a company with 20 to 40 people in their office.
And which do you like doing better?
I obviously like more working in the studio because I don't have to move anything. But I talk about this with a lot of my actual clients because they ask, which is nice. Headshots is really easy. It's kind of like the bread and butter, and I'm good at it, and I do it well, and it's kind of very steady. There's some ups and downs down the road, new techniques you learn. Right. What really is much more fun is portraits. Environmental portraits or in the studio. When I say environmental, it doesn't mean like in the woods. It just means outside the studio. I can go to somebody's office, somebody's building lobby, anywhere it is. It's a lot more challenging. That's where you really have to master your lighting and learn how to manipulate lighting and work closer one-to-one with a person or with a group. So that is a lot more fun in the challenging aspect.
Right. Now, I want to have you tuck your cable to the other side because it's going to make me all OCD while watching.
All right, cable tucked.
So you.
Oh, hi, Gabe.
The portraits versus the headshots. We had a conversation. Hell, we even made a video about it. Explain to me the difference between a headshot and a portrait.
Well,
since you charge a whole lot more for
since nobody remembers well. Okay, so headshots is typically head and shoulders. It's meant to focus on this part. Usually used in smaller applications like a little business card, could be LinkedIn where it's really this little. So there's no reason to show the color of your belt or even the pocket square. It's used to introduce who you are so people can recognize you. Where portraits, it's a little more storytelling. It can still be in this format, but it would have different expression maybe, different props. It can be anywhere from hats, scarves to a violin or a book or anything that you want to actually tell the story of in that photo. So when I talk to clients, when they're chatting with me prior to a portrait session about what should I do, what to expect, I tell them, pretend you're going to show a photo to somebody with 0 captions and you want them to learn about you. What would they learn? Whether it's your personality or your occupation, and bring that into the photo. So that really is the kind of like the difference between headshots and portraits.
Okay, no, it makes sense to me. I have to write that down for
I'll text it to you. I think you know it by now, though.
Yeah, I'm sure you probably have a few. Like you look at somebody like, wait, the wording on their website looks very, very similar. Where have I seen that before?
Yeah, that's okay.
I know it really is because I don't know about you, but I've always felt like I don't really care. I'm not here to compete. I could care less. Like actually, you've done headshots for me before in the past. I literally put it on my thing. I actually had somebody ask me like, aren't you kind of like sending people away from me. I was like, I'm not competing.
No,
I don't care. Look, I
there
did a
is.
shot with him. Check him out. If you want to go there, he's probably a lot faster than I am to set up.
In our industry, there is a form of competition, but it's not going to be where you're showing my headshot that I did for you. It's a compliment. I think that for us, really, the person who's going to differ between me and you would probably be just proximity. I literally had a client last week who reached out to me because my associate, my friend, Christy, couldn't do their headshot. And the client said, we liked both of you the same. Mm-hmm. She was just physically closer to us. But she ended up not being able to do it, so she threw the client back to me. So really, there's enough for everybody. There really is no competition.
Well, exactly. And you have to also think of it from the client mindset, which is basically, and I hate to be this offensive to many of you photographers watching this, they don't care about you.
No, they want the product. They want to look at your website, see good portfolio. Sorry,
exactly.
buddy. Prices that seem fair to them, reasonable. Just do good marketing.
Well, exactly. And it comes down to what they saw, the price point they saw, and then the last part of the entire booking process is if they are talking to you or I or whomever, like how they like that person. Those are the three things, and that will cause.
Yeah, don't be a creep. Don't whine. I knew a photographer years ago who just constantly went on social media and just said he was trying to be sarcastic, but it was a bad way to market yourself. He kept saying, "I got to feed my kids. Please hire me."
Wow, really?
Yeah, and and I know him personally. It didn't really depend on it. It wasn't like he wasn't starving, but he thought that this would be cool, kind of be funny about it. And I think that clients they don't hire out of pity. They hire because you do killer work.
Well, absolutely. And you were just talking about like if the people who would hire you or the people who hire me or who would hire me, I can tell you with certainty that also a certain level of client prestige, whatever, they see both your previous work, the stuff you've done, et cetera, the pageants, stuff like that, and they will be gravitated to it because they've seen that.
Right.
My clients, they're very, very happy. They're not looking at, oh snap, you shot, name drop somebody real big for me. Name drop somebody.
I have no idea. I don't mark myself as someone who photographed celebrities. I photographed a bunch of them, but I never put on my website, hey, here's my photo.
I almost say I admire that about you, that you don't try to do like the big brag.
I think the bigger names of people that photograph are the ones that asked to respect their private life more, so I wouldn't post their photos. I don't think that you're a better photographer if you got to photograph Brad Pitt at the steps of the Lincoln Memorial one time versus someone who creates killer portraits any elsewhere. So there's no reason to just bank on that celebrity photographer thing.
Exactly.
People do it. It works for them. Good for them. But I don't think it's...
Right. And also, here's the other thing to think about that. While hopefully those are great paydays, hopefully, here's the other thing. How often are you doing that celebrity job, whatever?
I don't do it that often because
I'm trying to say that.
Yeah, it depends on where you are. Look, if you're in LA and you got that niche and you connected with the PR firms and the promoters, you might. But DC, big surprise. It's not a celebrity city. There's no celebrity.
City.
It's a powerful city, but I don't consider government people celebrities,
Exactly.
So it's like pseudo-celebrity.
You know what those government people, what I like about the powerful in the DC crowd? They just want to look good. That's about it.
Well, they're politicians. They have to look good.
No, I mean, here, let me explain it differently. What I mean by that is, for example, if it's like a celebrity or an actor, they want it almost to the T of everything, a bunch of stuff like that. Somebody who's a CEO of whatever company, he doesn't want you to spend a bunch of time. He wants to spend like 5 or 10 minutes for this. He's going to come in there. He's probably going to do something like this or something where he's comfortable. You're going to take a shot. He's going to glance at it. He's going to say, that's good.
True.
You're done.
Right. And that's works for some people. I try to get at least a certain amount of time with my portrait clients so that, I call it like I need a 15-minute warm-up. You're not going to produce gold unless they're professionals at taking pictures. Sit down, buddy.
And that's smart.
Sit down.
That's very smart.
Sit down. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah.
Eddie says she sees Gabe.
Oh, yeah, Gabe is the star here.
I got Alan. Hey, Alan, what's up? Thanks for saying. We got Ray in here. Melinda, hello. Amit says hello. But yeah, what was I going to say here? I actually had noted stuff I was going to say, so I don't sound like an idiot on here. And since we're keeping the production crew here, I'm actually producing here too, like looking at notes.
Yeah,
here.
cameraman, lighting, AV, and anchorman.
So tell me about the good old Rona protocols you got going on right now.
Every client asks about it prior to booking, although it's all stated on the website. It's all there. But obviously, as you can see, I am at a street level, so there's no lobbies, no elevators, no crowding with other people, really no doorknobs. I open the door for people when they tap on the window, and only one client at a time. In between, I sanitize. I'm obviously distant from people 6 feet. We have a dedicated screen for image viewing, so they don't have to stand next to me and look at the screen. Yeah, I'm really minimal contact. I could have worked all 13 weeks I was shut down, although I think clients would have been too scared to book. But yeah, so pretty, and I wear a mask the whole time. My clients wear a mask. They only take it off from being photographed, then they put it back on and they come look at their pictures, and when they go back again, they take it off again.
Have you had to retouch many mask impressions on people's faces?
Yeah, we give them a minute in front of the mirror to let the blood flow, and it's kind of like a bra lines or something like that.
I feel like the retouchers would make a fortune just doing mask line retouches.
Yeah, and we have a makeup artist and hairstylist to work here, and when they do, they're also very, very aware. They wear a mask, they wear a shield if needed. Yeah.
So now we're like into the holiday season and stuff like that. How does the let's call it lead flow go for you when it comes into the holidays and stuff like that?
Well, I think there's a slowdown in corporate work. People still get headshots, but there's a little slowdown in the big groups that call into the office because people simply travel. So I'm expecting that. It happens every year. But there's, my other business other than headshots is personal portraits. I have a brand new website that I launched for it.
What's the website? Yeah, pitch it.
PortraitDC.com. And that's where people book their holiday photos. So whether it's in the studio or going to their homes.
Where's the big holiday setup in here? Are you doing like the mini sessions and stuff like that?
No, I don't do mini sessions. I don't do that thing. I work on quality, not quantity.
True. There's nothing wrong with mini sessions. Like there's actually
it works.
Great money to be had there. People like I go live and people just start calling. It's crazy. No, there's definitely great money to be had, but again, it's one of those you are really dedicating it and you're trying to get out a lot of numbers, and then you also have to follow up with print sales. Hopefully, you're doing print sales.
Not as much yet.
No, for people doing mini sessions and all like that.
If I did a mini session, there probably would be print sales, but I don't do. But when I do family portraits, people do buy prints, not just products. So we do that as well. Yeah.
So let's talk about that real quick, because I've dealt with this for years, even had one recently. Why don't you just give them images to print after a session for a family session of some kind?
You mean hand them files?
Yes.
I do. Well, they buy them. I don't hand it to
There we
people.
go.
They buy it. My sessions, they're all sitting fee based.
Exactly.
Didn't used to be like that, but I transitioned to it like a lot of people in the industry. So people just decide what they want to buy, whether it's one photo or 20 photos or 50, doesn't matter. They buy it. When they buy it, they can print it. But those who spend a lot of money with you will also end up having you print for them.
Right, because like definitely there's some people who would rather go to Walmart or I hate to say Walmart, but that's literally what
I don't personally know a lot of people that do that, but I know, the cheaper clients will do.
Right, and I hate to call them cheaper clients. It's just not the priority.
Right. Not cheaper. Look, we're all cheap at some point. For what's important for me, I'm not cheap.
Absolutely.
But if the quality of the print is not important for someone, they have the digital file. They feel like they already have that, so that's okay to print now, and that's okay. Go to Walmart. It is a cheaper solution.
Right.
But those, I literally, as you witnessed, just 10 minutes before we started the live stream, I had a client who came in and bought 14 prints from me of just a portrait, kind of headshot portrait of himself for his family, and he has the digital file.
Right.
But he keeps coming back to me for print because he wants his kids and grandkids to have photos that won't fade after
Sounds like
3 months. I hope he does.
Well, yeah, it's one of the things like, hey, And here's how I look at it too. And again, everybody's priorities are different. But to me, if I was hiring somebody for a service, I personally don't want to go to Walmart. I don't want to come back to Walmart, like the back and forth. I'd rather have it where it's like, oh yeah, let's just bundle this all together, and you're gonna make sure it's gonna be good.
Yeah. It's a photographer's responsibility to not just give or sell the files. Just follow through, create high quality product, which translates to prints. I talked about this in the past a lot. I love prints. I think they look amazing. I have walls downstairs filled with prints. Right there, we can't really see it. I have a big.
Have camera operator. We moved the cameras, but it's.
Yeah, I have a big Canon printer that I print a lot of stuff. It looks amazing, so I really enjoy it. I'm teaching my kids to appreciate the print paper. That each one has a big wall in their room where they come here, they see a photo, they print, and they take it home. So they don't flip screens like most people these days.
Because again, when that industry changes, we're talking about digital photos on phone, social media. When the world shifts away from that, and all those thousands, I have 30,000 photos on my phone iCloud right now. When that changes, what are you going to have? You know what? 100 years from now, 100 years earlier, that family album still exists. It might be falling apart.
It might be falling apart. Yeah, it's good to have both. It's good to have your digitals, because you always want to have it on the go. You can't ignore that we're living in a digital world. But it's nice to have print. Well, you can't put your phone on the wall, and I've seen those big 40-inch frames, digital frames, but a print is much nicer.
Well, of course, and for many people who haven't experienced that, the second they get their first, especially a good print, like a good size print, it does something. Like when you have that beautiful session, and you get that, like, let's just say 8 by 10 and up. If you get 16 by 20 and up, and they see themselves like that, it's just a beautiful, icing.
And they're not used to it. They're not used to it. Sometimes when I'm doing a longer session here in the studio, while people are changing or getting a makeup change, I take my time to quickly, not touch up, but just kind of tweak one of them.
Keep talking. Cameras went off. Keep talking.
Okay.
So you take your time to do what?
While they're busy, I'll just take one of their photos from the session, and I'm going to just print it while they're waiting. And then they're sitting there downstairs in the makeup chair, and I walk up to them with a giant 22-inch print and show it to them, and that's it. I mean, it does everything.
Well, yeah, and that's the beauty of having your printer on location. Sorry, everybody. I had to change batteries in the cameras.
Fire the AV guy.
But no, that's one of the awesome things about having your printer in studio is you can do stuff like that.
Yeah, it's definitely a plus, and thanks to Canon for having this printer here. It's just great.
Well, if you're going to name drop Canon, if you were doing bigger prints, where would you be going?
I would use one of the Pro Labs, either use Bayphoto or H&H. Those are two labs that I've worked with in the past that are amazing. Every print I have in the past before I got into printing myself was from them. Canvases, millions of tons of products. Back when I was wedding photographer, they were always doing my stuff.
I use Bay as well for I actually use them for my albums and basically everything, just because I'd rather just have everything in one direction. I can complain to one person, and they're great with that and stuff like that.
I never had complaints with them, but I did have like a person that was handling everything for me, and I never had to kind of get routed to some random person. They would always take care of you. So definitely.
I went to their lab one time. It was an amazing facility.
Yeah, I've been there. It's amazing. It's huge. It's an operation. It's not a mom and pop shop.
Well, no, because I forget, they're up near San Francisco. Yeah, San Francisco, and it's a really great space.
Yep.
I love how I'm like being a camera operator, host, producer.
Amazing. You're so talented. Hi,
well,
buddy.
honestly, that's where so much of my work lies. Like, I've definitely done like the bigger stuff where you have gaffers and creative directors and all stuff like that. But so much of the majority of my stuff is small team stuff where literally like one person's operating maybe 3 cameras and everybody, we get it done.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's also, in my opinion, where so much of the work is nowadays. Many companies, we're not talking about Apple and Coca-Cola, but we're talking about, larger resorts and stuff like that. They hire small video teams and stuff like that, and that's what not just for budget, but that's just what they want. They don't want to do the big scrims. They want it to look more.
No, I think that the cinema industry has come so far. It grew. that a lot of clients now ask for something that looks slightly more homemade. They don't want it to look. That's Gabe.
The woman on the street just jumped like 10 feet. Oh my God.
Then that's exactly what he's for. So I think people want things to look less CGI, more homemade, less 8K slow motion, or just want people to look something a little more genuine. Genuine is the right word. And when you bring the big production team, things start to look like a movie production.
Well, exactly.
We want the quality, but I think clients also want some genuine looking film that sometimes can be achieved with, a phone for certain purposes.
And that's the truth of the matter. And I've actually worked with a crew of Schweitzer films. You familiar with Joe Schweitzer and them? We actually did an entire wedding with iPhones just on principle of it. It got published and stuff like that.
I've heard of that, yeah.
And
I shot one time an entire bris with an iPhone.
It took me a second. You see, it took me a second to realize what you're talking about.
True story.
But no, it's very, very true. And honestly, many companies, they want that creator look, which is basically
right.
Like I've had to take, crazy $5,000 camera here, turn it vertically because they want that vertical shot that's going to look like somebody did that for their story.
That's right. I don't get that, but it's there.
Yeah, and that's where the innovative marketing and stuff like that comes in here. Oh, segue to marketing. So what's benefiting you these days?
What's benefiting me?
Your mic's pointing towards yourself. Aim it up there. I'd fix it, but we're on air and somebody's going to yell, like, yeah!
Is this better?
Yes, that's better.
Okay. What am I benefiting in marketing? I think return clients is the best marketers. I have so many of them. People that either I photographed their events and weddings years ago, I've been already a client, but now people that I shot their headshots 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they come back, which is great. So that's the best marketing. I kind of paused back in March, paused all my Google ads and Facebook ads and Yelp ads. They're kind of organically doing their thing now. So really just word of mouth.
Well, yeah, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. Am I saying no, Google and Yelp don't work? No, I'm not saying that at all.
They work at
but here's what I'm saying, though. Like, I'm saying this from a consumer standpoint. I'm not paying attention to a Yelp or Google ad. It's helping to reinforce your brand.
Right.
I see you a bunch of times. It's helping for that.
That's right.
But, the actual ad isn't getting me there. Unless it's a niche product I see on Instagram.
Your hand is less than 6 feet from me.
Oh, I'm sorry. But here, perfect example, these shoes. Niche random product where they did something cool where it was splashing water on Instagram. I saw that. That's a little bit different than, I need a headshot.
I see a lot of stuff I need on Instagram. People don't really Google after they see something. They Google once they see something. They Google it to vet it. But most of people's inspiration or shopping kind of ideas come from social media, especially Instagram.
I mean, I could be totally wrong with this, but I'm a believer that huge companies are all who are led by great CEOs and stuff like that. They're always working on things of innovation and stuff like that. And I wholeheartedly believe that one day Amazon will somehow be able to sell services. Like we'll go through whatever their thing is and be able to be sold via Amazon for services.
I'm surprised it's not there yet.
Would you do it?
Would I put Amazon photography packages on it?
Yep.
It depends. Depends on the cut they take. Because just like everything, I mean, when people sell products, it makes sense because you mark it up and you decide, you do the math. But then you'd have to completely change the pricing structure of your services. And that's different.
Right, because it has to match everything. Because otherwise, you're looking at the person's website costs this. It costs this on Amazon. You're going with the cheapest.
I personally don't want to be like a mass thing on Amazon.
Right.
This is a boutique studio. It's always been from day one, and I want to keep it that way.
Well, no, I'm with you with that. One thing I will say that I don't know what it's called, and I've only seen some companies use it. But when they set their payment structure up through Amazon. Just
Amazon checkout. It just kind of vets it a little more.
That helps my buying decision as a consumer.
That's totally fine. You can still do that. You don't have to be selling products on Amazon. It's just another way to checking out with PayPal. Because they have those merchant services.
Exactly, because I'm already in the system. Because that's when, from a consumer standpoint, that's one of the things that causes me to pump the brakes a little bit. It's like, oh yeah, I got to put my information in here.
Yeah.
Not just the being lazy.
It's another secure checkout.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So that would be wonderful. But yeah, I would personally do it depending on, again, what the cut is and how easily I could set it up, because otherwise you're just doing stuff like those websites like Thumbtack and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's okay. That's kind of like a Yelp thing.
Yeah.
I have my own reservations about Yelp. Some good things about it. Some.
You do know you probably get a phone call from Yelp today because
I get a phone call from them every day. I just hang up because there's a lot of things that they're horrible at. Not going to go into that now. That would be more like an R-rated, X-rated kind of language.
They call me one more time.
No, that's okay. But yeah.
No, you're absolutely right, because it's like it's good for certain things. For me, and this is my buying habits, and I know that it's different for everybody, I'm not going to shop for an expensive service on Yelp. It's just not what I'm going to do.
No, it's not, and I totally agree. Enough said about it, because it's for, I'm not, it used to be, Yelp started like a restaurants and plumbers kind of place to be, and then they kind of got into the photography services. For the longest time, just until a few months ago, you couldn't differentiate between headshot photographer, portrait photographer, and the wedding photographer on Yelp. So I wasted a lot of time being on it, getting wedding inquiries for the past 5 years that I haven't been shooting weddings.
Exactly.
And it took them a while, but they still have a lot of stuff to work on. They're just not really good at getting feedback. They're good at selling. I'll give them that. Their outgoing calls are just...
Hey, we'll call about your Yelp listing.
Yeah, exactly. How can we help you today?
Yeah. So also here, we'll talk about this on the sales front. We'll start wrapping this up. It's not just the sale when it comes to us, and this isn't for an upsell. That's what I'm trying to say. It's always what happens after the sale. So how much, like on your end, for a portrait, headshot, whatever, how much back-to-back revision stuff do you do? And do you charge extra for those revisions?
I don't charge extra for revisions.
So I can do like 20 revisions.
You can. If you are doing 20 revisions, you got some problems. Because you don't need 20 revisions.
Right.
We probably didn't do it right from the beginning. We didn't photograph what you needed if there's 20 revisions. But I do, most of my people, I'd say 95% of my clients, when we give them the retouched image, they're happy. They say, great, looks amazing. They haven't seen the only thing they've seen is before on the screen. So when 2 days later they get the retouched image, they see it, and that's it. There's a 5% who says, can you tweak my eyebrow or get that thing out of my ear or whatever it is.
Right.
So we'll do it. And then there's maybe 1% of people who says, well, now can you do this? Can you do that? And you didn't do that right. And it's in every business. It's a small percent, 2%. It's nothing. It's marginal. It's part of the business. And I don't say nothing wrong with that kind of client. It's something that I must have done wrong. So I try to learn from it.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's a great way of looking at it.
Yeah, absolutely. If a client has to tell me that something needs fixing 5 times, it may not. It's not necessarily that I'd say something wrong in the photography. It's something I should have paid attention to while I was photographing.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, and I feel the same way on the photo front, because aside from I know we don't want to talk about this again. The wedding front, where it's just like, oh, let's change this whole batch of black and whites to color or vice versa.
Right.
That's a whole different conversation.
It is, yeah.
But like, just from photo to my end on video, the way I unofficially have always had it was, hey, I want you satisfied, and I'll revise, till you're happy. But I've run into it a couple times this year, not actually, especially earlier this year, where I had to rethink what I'm doing, because I'm paying an editor hourly to do these videos and stuff like that. And so when a revision comes back, we fix it, they watch it, they think a friend, blah, 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 then they have me redo something else. And then they have me do something else.
Right.
And then on the
it's a different beast with video. You're dealing with video, so...
Yeah, the fourth one, this same person, the fourth revision, that's when they ask...
If I was doing what you're doing, I would totally put a cap on number of the revisions. But with photos, it's really easy. Editors, I have 3 retouchers on staff, and they work in layers. It's really not that hard to one click go back and all that. A video is a different beast, so you should charge for every revision after the first, whatever you include,
actually,
1 or 2 or 3.
I'll actually get your opinion on this. So my thought is basically this. So like, let's say I just did a video for you. I send it to you. whatever you say for that first time is not counting for anything. So that's your time to say, I don't like the music, I don't like the flow.
Okay.
And I'll redo it. I'm not going to, all right.
It's not a revision yet.
No.
It's just feedback.
After that first feedback, we're going to send it back. And that thing that we send back, that's where we start counting. So that thing I just sent back, which is the first round of revisions, technically,
I got it.
that's free. After that, because you should have told me everything you want changed, after that, that's when I'm starting.
That's right. That's the best way to do it. And
that way, you know what?
And that's a good practice, but it's only going to work if the client knows about it and understands it before going into it.
Yep.
Because I will always have those one clients who will not read through my website, not listen to the actual conversation here, and will still ask me, do I get the raw files?
Every time.
Right?
Yep.
Oh, I thought I was getting a portrait when I booked a headshot. So it's not the client's problem. It's your my responsibility, your responsibility to explain that. And that is why I'm redoing my entire website now. It's a great website, but I'm launching HeadshotDC 3.0. It's the third revision over a few years because I've learned from the past year of using my new website what clients actually read and what they don't.
Oh,
and so I'm kind of revamping it.
Read?
What's that?
How much are they actually reading?
Very little. Very little.
Because
there's nothing wrong with it. I don't read at all. I just click. I see a button. I click it. I don't read anything. My wife hates me for doing that.
Reaction buyer, like
not necessarily buying stuff, but I skim through. I'm more of a visual. I look at pictures. I'm like a kid. Show me pictures.
Right.
I don't read text a lot. So if something is bold, I'll read it. I have dyslexia, so since I was a kid, that's how I am. My assumption is that my clients are like me.
Right.
And that's why I'm trying to improve my website, to clarify even better, whether it's with videos you've made for me or bolding out keywords to make them understand this
exactly.
And there's some clients who read entire script. They'll read everything or remember it and come into the studio and tell me stuff that I forgot that's on my website.
Yeah, might even give you a typo. Hey, you got a typo in your contract.
I get that too. I get clients who tell me your website back there on the third page on the 5th paragraph said so-and-so. Is that still? Yep, it is. I don't even know what they're talking about, but it is.
Absolutely. I mean, and here's the thing though, because like I wrote this down. I made a whole flow chart one time because I wanted to do that mass email thing where it's like, oh yeah, you book. So here's this email. This one's gonna hit you. And I feel like, and I've actually been told by a couple clients, oh, that's too much. You're sending me too many emails and stuff like that, because it's like it's not a great service. It's a great sales strategy, yes, but like they're not going to watch it. Like you know, I'm a fan of Tony Robbins and his stuff like that. The man sends out a bunch of emails. Like there's a bunch of, and they're huge, wordy emails.
I'm not that kind of person. I can't read long emails. I
like his stuff. I'm not reading it.
And my assumption is a majority of my clients, not all, but majority are like me. They don't like to read a lot. They want to see. If it looks good, I'll do it. The problem is that there's a lot of information needs to be accompanying that. Here's the image. There's a process to get to that. It's the booking process. It's the shooting process. It's the delivery. And they tend to forget all that or ignore it or not see it. So doesn't matter how great the website you're going to have, make sure that it's part of the conversation here in the studio.
And that's where I sometimes fall short. I don't repeat the same thing.
I just, every day, more and more, just as much as I can. Because even that, 80% will be gone the second they get out. My clients leave and then send me an email 3 hours after the photo shoot. I didn't get the photos yet. That's because I haven't even sent them to my retoucher yet. Exactly. So it's okay. It's normal. Again, it's expected. It's our responsibility. It's part of being a business owner to be the customer service person that explains and doesn't get mad.
And how many times do you have to say that a battery just went down the center camera? How many times do you have to say this answer, well, this one photographer does it this way? How many times do you have to address that?
I don't get that a lot. I think in that sense, my website does a pretty good job explaining that we are a boutique studio. This is how we do things. So we don't really need people to tell us, hey, this is how so-and-so does it. If they do, we'll tell them, well, you know, sometimes it's something I can do. It's just not my regular, but if it's something that has to do with pricing or, you know, something like that, then this is how we do things here.
Absolutely. I literally just had battery in my mouth because that's just sterile, right?
Those Canons chew batteries.
They really do. That's why I handed you that one, because that's that special new one.
Okay.
Those are hard to get nowadays.
This is mine?
Yes.
Okay.
Because that way I don't magically forget. Oh, if you don't know the difference, okay, I'll give you one of the off-brand.
No, I'm glad. I just went back to this system.
Oh yeah, welcome back. We haven't even talked about that. You're back to Canon.
I
Welcome
did.
Back.
Thank you.
To everybody who knows him, who figured he'd be back. Here's that day.
Yeah.
So what do you got?
R5, R6.
And what do you like better? Which do you like better?
I mean, for what I do, they're exactly the same. Operation is the same. Mm-hmm. If I was, obviously more megapixels, the big difference. I don't care. I don't care about 8K video. It doesn't help me. It helps you when you're using my cameras. But I love it. One of the reasons I switched to Sony almost 2 years ago was I was shooting Canon 5DS and loved it. But
I missed that phase of you. I didn't see you with the 5DS.
No, I used to. I loved it. I was shooting 1DX before, and then 5DS in the studio, which was great. I loved everything about it. But when I tried, right, I love shutters. But when I tested the Sony Alpha A7 A3 or A7 R3.
It's confusing.
I know. What really got me was, first of all, when you shoot mirrorless, obviously you have a quick representation, a digital in the viewfinder, which is really good for headshot photographers because you can literally keep watching. You don't have to look at the screen.
Right.
And then, of course, the eye focus, which in comparison to a camera like 5DS that never had it at all, it was groundbreaking. But 2 years almost using it, I have to admit, great camera, but that eye focus is very iffy at best. It goes to the brighter eye, not to necessarily to the closer eye. So when you short light somebody, the further eye is actually the brighter one.
Yeah, you were asking me those questions because you actually checked mine out when you got it.
And then a lot of time the focus misses. It wasn't perfect. And yes, Sony tech support, I do update the firmware. Then you showed up with...
say that. It's like, well, did you update the firmware?
Right. And then, were you on manual focus? And then you showed up with the R5, and I tested it, and I was blown away. And I've shot close to 7,000 frames since I got the R5 and R6.
Wow.
And I can tell you, I'll put $1 million in the lottery numbers on it. I have zero focus miss, always the eye, which is, for me, that's all I need. Plus, tethering is very smooth with EOS Utility, always has been.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I haven't really messed with the Sony tethering because I touch Sony. I mean, I use them big cameras for bigger production, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they're small form cameras. I touched them probably back in 2016 with the A7S II for a little bit, video only. I hate that menu. I hate that menu.
Yeah, very, very challenging menu. Took me a while to get used to it. Now when I went back to Canon, it's like I never left the camera. It's the same, and it's great. And I love the new Canon lenses. They're amazing. So what?
And you got the hook about it when you're like, oh, you want to use the 15 to 35. I'm like, you can't.
I haven't photographed with it. I keep it just in case I go into offices and I have to do some
right
stuff.
Now.
You're welcome to borrow it.
That's a buy. I want to get rid of the 16 and 35 we're using. Because the IS for me in video is pretty clutch.
Right,
Ooh,
right.
Did I say clutch? Oh, I sound
You
like
did.
a millennial. I need to quit talking like that. But no, I like it, and 7,000 frames since you got it. I've had an R5 much longer than you have. I haven't even come close to that.
Well, you shoot a lot of video. I'm sure you're happy with what it does.
This year has been pretty much primarily video. Like I've done photos, like a sprinkle here and there, but it's been a mainly video year. Like when I switched that camera to a photo, I'm like, oh, I'm not even used to
what is that?
Here. Which is why, like I was saying, I'm thinking about getting more and more into video because it's just like while I can do photo, it's great when it comes in, but it's like. All my stuff's video. It's live streaming. It's this. It's,
Yeah.
And I enjoy doing that. So is there any switch coming up for you next year? Anything you're going to change and everything for the new year? Resolutions.
Resolutions?
Professional ones. I don't want to hear about you losing weight and that type of thing.
No. I was just about to say living healthier. No, really just kind of launching that dedicated brand. HeadshotDC is going to be a thing that I'm going to be doing very soon. That's it, really. Just keep working. Always growing.
I'm all about it. I mean, on my front, again, I think I'm going to probably officially put a deadline where this is going to be my last. I'll probably still shoot weddings for other crews and stuff like that.
Well, I think you also enjoy it. One of the things I loved about shooting weddings was the social aspect of it.
Exactly.
It's fun, and I know you're single, so it's even more fun
exactly.
to go and party late and have all the fun that comes with it. But for me, it got to be a little different.
Well, yeah, of course. And it just, again, not going back into the weight thing, just I don't want to dedicate all that many hours of time because like seriously, if you truly take time and put all your meetings down, write it all out, you spend a lot of time doing
I did the math. I'm telling you, it ends up being close to 50 hours between every
and
email you write
and
driving over.
Mine.
Driving and site viewing and consultations and gallery showings and meeting with vendors, and crying at night, hugging your pillow. It takes a toll.
Yeah,
that's a different
topic. Is that what
topic.
this gray hair are I'm seeing?
Pretty much.
Well, yeah, for me, one of the big things, and I'm just going to be very changing up policies. So like the revision thing I was telling you about, that's going to be set in practice, as well as just make it, like what you were just saying, the clear-cut expectations, so there's not a conversation. It's not an awkward, hey, I thought I was getting that, and then I realized...
It's not, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What I was going to say, it's not good enough to just... It's not good enough to just say, but it's in the contract so I can enforce it.
Exactly.
You're going to end up having really a lot of bad friction with clients if you just say, you should have looked at the contract.
Yeah.
You shouldn't get to the point where you send somebody to review the contract. You should really clarify the revisions. If that's your big thing, big friction, or trying to avoid a friction with clients, that should be the biggest conversation you should have with them, not about, are we going to shoot 16 by 9 or,
Yep.
Because that's something you can always adjust, but client relationship is more important than anything.
Absolutely, and that's why 2021 for me is making it clear cut for expectation, revisions, all that stuff like that, and also this is the biggest one for me, make it clear as day payment schedules.
Yeah, luckily I work with the average client. I get fully paid in advance.
That's how I try.
I think that's a must. When it comes to video, I can see a schedule that comes in with the final payment delivered closer to product delivery, but that's totally should be your choice, not a client's choice.
It also should be clear cut. I'm not calling any of them out, but I've had a number of people where it's just like, okay, in everything that I send you, because you've seen my invoices before, you probably gotten the reminder and notifications probably.
Right.
It clearly says this is the due date. So when the due date passes, I'm like, hey guys, I hate sending that email because it's like, it's clearly there, and they're like, oh, we do net 30 after the invoices pass due. It's like,
and that's where I'm personally more flexible, because I understand companies are not just swipe the card and let it go through. Companies have their policies. They have 3 people in the account payables department who deal with it, so they're not going to change your policies just for you. But it has happened in the past that I stopped a job because they didn't pay full in advance when I wanted it. So at the very least, for new clients, I would make them pay in advance. And then after there's a relationship, I don't care if they do net 30 or 60, because I know they're not going anywhere.
Well, exactly. And so people who are listening, let me make sure I was clear with that. I'm not trying to say I won't do net 30. I'm fine. I do it all the time. But the thing is, that's a conversation they should have told me. Like when we made everything up, and there's clearly a due date on the invoice, that they should have mentioned, hey, we do net 30.
Right, and
when the invoice came out, not after you're getting the past due indicators, and I'm anticipating this, whether we're renting equipment or
that's right,
staff.
That's right, absolutely.
And so that's one of the things for me, I'm making sure it's going to happen in 2021.
I'm sure you'll set it up where way they can see it.
I have no doubt. Let me check here and see if there's any comments. We got people saying, awesome job, y'all, this is really good. Somebody actually wants a photo shoot. I don't know who she's talking to, you or me. So
who is that?
She's one of my friends. Haley said she wants hair, makeup, and a photo shoot after 6 or 8 weeks of workouts. After 6 or 8 weeks of workout.
She wants me to work out 6 to 8 weeks?
No, I think she wants to work out. Let's talk about that real quick, because I know you just added a little tagline to your stuff. What's your tagline?
Do the photo shoot.
Exactly. So how many times do you get that question where it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get in shape first, or once I get.
Everybody wants to look better for the photo. I get it. Whether you just had a baby or you just lost weight, gained weight, grew hair, whatever, doesn't matter. Just don't wait forever, because we're not getting younger.
Well, exactly.
But I understand people wanting to look better, and I appreciate that they're not relying on Photoshop to make them look like they worked out for 6 to 8 weeks. So go ahead, do your workout, and when you feel good about yourself, just book the photo shoot.
I'm with you on that. One of the things I always try to encourage is always just reminding them that, and I'm not trying to go totally morbid, but tomorrow is never a promise. For all you know, this is the best part. Even if this isn't your best version of yourself right now, I would celebrate it because whatever's happened in the past has gotten you to this point right now. Like, am I in the best shape ever? No, but like if we decide to knock out a headshot and I kind of look pretty good in this jacket,
you will do pretty good.
Exactly. I'm not going to sit there and be like, okay, let me lose a little bit of weight to this double chin. No, whatever. I just posted a shot the other day, and you can definitely tell I had a little double chin. I don't care. I'm happy to celebrate this. I know that's not for everybody, but it's about really embracing you.
That's right. That's right. And one thing that I wish everybody brought to a photo shoot is confidence.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
I can bring everything else. Confidence is something you have to bring with you because it's the best thing to have when you're taking a photo.
I agree with you. Well, on that note, we're going to wrap this up. Thanks for having me back. It's been great.
As always.
I'm glad I put a name to this thing, Convos with Creatives. I'm about to do another one of these, so stay tuned for that. But thanks for having me out here.
My pleasure.
All right, so I'm going to wrap this thing up by clicking this button here, and I just locked my laptop, so I'm going to press this button here because that's just awesome. And now it's going to be super awkward.